لا إله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وحبيبه وخليله أرسله تعالى بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله وكيلا. يا عباد الله أوصيكم النفس الخاطئة بتقوى الله سبحانه وتعالى في السر والعلانية، وهو القائل في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد, alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I was studying the motto of Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, there's a very interesting hadith, actually a hadith of Umar radiyallahu anhu. Imam Malik relates that Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari related to him that Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu said something very interesting. And what he said when I actually read the hadith, it caught my attention because the words that Umar radiyallahu anhu used and the way that he expressed what he wanted to say is very eloquent. He said, Iyyakum wal lahm. He said, beware and be wary of meat. It was very interesting because everybody eats meat. Everybody, day in, day out, they eat meat. And he said, radiyallahu anhu, Iyyakum wal lahm. فَإِنَّ لَهُ ضَرَاوَةٌ كَضَرَاوَةِ الْخَمَرِ. He said, radiyallahu anhu, it has a dirawa, and this is an interesting word, in the same way that khamar, wine, has this quality. And dirawa is a very interesting word because it comes from a root, ba and ra, which is related to harm. In fact, if a person becomes blind, they call him darir. Why? Because he's become blind, he's become harmed. Something's happened to him. And in fact, if a man marries another woman and he has two wives, you know what the other one's called? Durra or darra. She harms the other one. They have constant fights. And one of the things about this word darra and durra and dirar, which is mutual harm, is that this quality leads to an addiction, which is what Umar radiyallahu anhu actually meant. Dirawa actually means addiction. And Umar radiyallahu anhu was pointing us towards the fact that meat, if you constantly eat it, it produces an effect which is similar to addiction. Similar to a person who's an alcoholic cannot live without alcohol. A person who has this quality of constantly eating meat has the same attachment to consuming, to the point that they find it difficult to stop doing that. And whenever you have an addiction, you have a marketplace. And think of alcohol, think of all the places that sell alcohol. Because people are addicted, you can raise the price to whatever amount you want. And the Scottish government can raise the unit price of alcohol to whatever they want. People, if they're addicted, will drink it. It's the same thing with meat. If you're addicted to meat, and in fact, Aisha radiyallahu anha said that the first bid'ah, the first innovation in this community that arose after the death of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was this quality of eating too much. It was not caring about what you eat, and not caring about the source of the produce that you're eating. This quality of addiction means that there's a marketplace for that. And this is why recently you have this idea of people mixing horse meat into beef. Why? Because you have a massive marketplace. And it's interesting, Umar radiallahu anhu himself was the person that instigated this process of hisbah, which is to take the marketplace to account for what they do. So he radiallahu anhu appointed somebody to look over the marketplace of Madinah al-Munawwarah to make sure there was no practices in the marketplace that would affect the consumer. Umar radiallahu anhu produced that process. In fact, what we see nowadays in the West in terms of quality control was all started by Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. But even Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu realized that just putting in the mechanism through which you can check what's being sold and what's being done is not sufficient. If people do not have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how many cameras can you put into factories? How many people can you take to account? How many people can you send to factories to check what's happening? If people do not have this quality of fearing somebody and knowing that something is looking over them, other than the state, people at any point in their lives, they will try and cut corners. And this is why they talk about fools and horses. Because they say fools and horses are exactly the same, because fools are the only people that work for a living. And horses are the only animals that work and do what they're told. Whereas intelligent people, they try and cut corners to make money. That's why you have this idea of Del Boy. What does he do? The title of that thing is what? Fools and Horses. Why? Because he tries to cut corners. And the unfortunate thing is, when it really hits us, when we're thinking about what we're eating and whether it's beef or not, then we get really, really worried. The reality is, if you don't want an Orwellian state where you have constant surveillance and people looking over your back all the time, then you have to create people who have an awareness of the fact they have a social responsibility, but not just a social responsibility, they have a responsibility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Umar radiallahu anhu, when he became the Khalifa, he used to go around the city looking for people that were weak, or people that were poor. And one day, after the Fajr prayer, he left the mosque and he walked around the city of Madinah Munawwara, and he came to a door and he heard a conversation between a mother and the daughter. And Umar radiallahu anhu, the day before, had forbidden people from mixing milk and water, because you know that people mix milk and water so they get more money for whatever milk they have. Umar radiallahu anhu forbade that. And the next day, the mother woke up her daughter, and she said, you know, should you not do this? Mix the water with the milk and we'll sell it, we'll get a good price. And she said, did you not know that Umar forbade us from doing this? And the mother said, yeah, he did, but you know what? He's not here. And Umar radiallahu anhu standing outside listening in. And he's listening in and he hears this. And listening to the conversation, he hears the daughter say, if Umar radiallahu anhu is not here, then the Lord of Umar is here. Now think of it, this is nobody's checking this woman. This young girl is just thinking that Umar said something for a reason. But even if Umar is not here, it's wrong to do that. Because it says, "Ghish man ghasha falaysa minna." Whoever defrauds us is not from us. And she had the quality of taqwa, which meant that Umar radiallahu anhu didn't do anything to the mother. He went straight back home. And he spoke to one of his sons, Asim. And he said to him the next day, go to that house and find out who it is. Find out who the family are, and find out who that girl is. And if she's not married, propose to that woman. فَإِنَّهَا أَهْرًا تَأْتِي بِفَارِسٍ تَسُودُ الْعَرَبِ. He said, because that girl, she will produce a child who will be the leader of the Arabs. Faris is a name of a knight, in fact. It's not even a leader, it's a person who rides the horse to lead the army. And that's what happened. Asim married her. And the next generation produced Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, radiallahu anhu, the 5th Khalifa. Now this is a quality that really we need in society, not just Muslims, because the thing is, the moment you remove God from discourse, the moment you think that believing in God is foolish, at that point you have to create a police state. You have to create a civil service that is massive, and you have to create a police force which is all-encompassing, etc., etc. But nobody looks over themselves. Nobody has this quality of taqwa, of knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching them. This is why Sahal ibn Abdullah at-Tasturi radiallahu anhu, he was only 3 years old when he said he used to see his uncle getting up for tahajjud. And he used to wake up and look at his uncle and then stand next to his uncle praying tahajjud. And his uncle used to say to him, go back to sleep, go back to sleep. And he said, I constantly was amazed by this person standing up in prayer at that young age. And then he said after a period of time, his uncle told him to do something. He said, do you know that you have a Lord, that you have a Rabb? And he said, yes. And he says, don't stand next to me, but when you're in your bed, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ma'i. Inna Allaha ma'i. Inna Allahu nadirun ilay. Inna Allaha muttali'un alay. He said, say this and think this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the witness over what you do. And Sahal ibn Abdullah, he's about 5 years old at this point. He said, I constantly did this. And before I knew it, I found the sweetness of that in my heart. And then when he became mature, his uncle said to him, remember what I told you about the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that's a witness over you. Remember that? And he says, yes. And then he says, do you not think that the person who knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with him, is looking over him, and is constantly aware of his actions, will he disobey Allah? أَفَيَعْصِيهِ? And at that point, Sahal ibn Abdullah realized what the dhikr was all about. And in fact, that dhikr is not just something that Muslims should be thinking about themselves. It's something for yourself to think, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is constantly aware of your innermost actions, your innermost thoughts. Regardless of what you do in terms of actions, the things that you think, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of them. So if that's the case, then how can you do something that defrauds somebody else? If you hide and you do something, you make money out of it, how can you live off that money? How will you face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Even if you don't get caught, how will you face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because at the end of the day, you stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, اقرأ كتابك. The book's in front of you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, read your book. And everything there will not just be your actions, it will be the things you did in private. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly gives us the exhortation to taqwa. To have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also taqwa means to have an awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His qualities. That He is a quality of knowing every single thing that happens. That He knows everything that's hidden in our hearts. That He knows our intentions before we even manifest our intentions. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the quality of taqwa, which is the most important thing that Muslim has, that we inculcate that in our children as well as ourselves. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to listen to words of wisdom. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. اللهم صل وسلم.
I wonder if I've been good today. Didn't hurt nobody, so why am I afraid to pass away? Strange thought I have faith there is somewhere. And I love Allah. Someday a spark that fire, I'm a star